how our daughter does Life of Fred Math. And I thought, hey, we should record this because this is great information on how we teach math and how our little 8-year-old is doing like 6th grade math sometimes, which is nuts. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Life of Fred Math and this kind of experience that you were relaying to me a few minutes ago.
So we're about as far into the Life of Fred Math series as she is capable of doing. We're doing the book Fractions right now. She is 8. Fractions was not written for an 8-year-old to be doing. It is fairly hard math when it's hard math. Now, granted, sometimes it's really easy math that's just knowing things, and that's fun for her. Like one of the questions that she had to do today was, is it true that in Rome, D is greater than, or no, D is less than M? If you know Roman numerals, you will know that yes, that is true, because D 500 is less than 1,000. And Life of Fred has told us this, and so she knew that, and so she was able to have fun answering that question by remembering, oh wait, I know there's a pattern to Roman numerals. How does it go? Okay, which comes first? Okay, and then she could see it, and then we played with the pattern of how the Roman numerals work. So that was easy for her. But then, in the same like breadth of questions, it's like, what's 3 1/7 times 8 1/4? That's a little more tricky.
You told me that, and I was like, there is no chance that I would be able to do that in my head. And that's how they do this. They do this going on walks, and they do all this stuff in their heads.
So we were in the backyard. I made her cry. I feel bad. Our neighbors have to think that I am a crazy person, because anyone else would hear me being like, Zelly, you know how to do 8 1/4 times 3 1/7 in your head. It's like, oh my God, what's he asking her to do? But I wasn't asking her that. I was asking her, we break it down. You know, you follow it step by step. You follow it. So 1/7 next to the 3, you say 7 times 3 plus the 1. So you've got a little pattern you can follow, and then you do that for both of them. And then we multiply our numerators by each other. And it's like, you know how to do 7 times 4. But then she gets in her head and she like forgets how to think about things.
She has these weird coping mechanisms
Where
when she gets stuck that don't help.
Yeah, it's like she repeats the math problem over and over. It's like 7 times 4, 7 times 4, 7 times 4, 7 times 4. It's like, okay, now you said it 1,000 times. Now solve it. You know, skip count the 7s to the 4th place. You know, put them together in your head as 7 groups of 4 things. Whatever, you've got 1,000 methods for doing multiplication. It's your
just repeating the question back doesn't get you there.
You're like digging a hole every time you say it. You're getting further and further away from the problem, because then by the time we're doing 22 times 33 in our head, it's like you have to hold on to these numbers. If you just start getting like spacey about the like 2 times 3 part, then I lose you for the rest of it when we have to move it over a place.
Okay, and we're not just being cruel. So she had made it, this was today, right? Yeah. She had made it today through the entire lesson in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And this is hard math, but she had made it through the entire lesson and all the questions. And then she got to this last one, which was it particularly harder than the other questions?
In her defense, it was particularly harder than the other questions. It was a bunch of like the one I said earlier with the Roman numerals, and a lot of like, if this is true, then blank has to be true. Commutative, or what is commutative versus not commutative kind of questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Easy softball stuff. And then there was another math one in there though, and she answered that one really quickly. And we went through like, it was another like multiple level, multiplication problem, like something in the hundreds times something in the tens.
And the more we do The more they're layering on the multiple step processes, the less it makes sense to be doing this verbally.
Except that she still prefers it that way. Like, it's like, dude, would you like us to sit down with a pencil and paper and do this in pencil and paper? And for the most part, she's like, no, let's do it like this. We have gotten to a few problems where she's been like,
I just can't hold all this in my head.
at least let's write down the number, like the big numbers as we get to them. And then we can like work from there so that we have a reference point to go back
Okay, so
to.
you're starting to use some amount of like scratch pad.
Yeah, like, all right, write down the actual physical, what is the multiplication, like actual problem that we started with. Because sometimes, you know, when you've got something in the thousands place times something in the hundreds place, you forget what order that all of your numbers are supposed to go into. It's like, wait, was it 4,300 and something, or was it 3,400? It's like, now I'm turned around because she spent 5 hours answering 4 times 3, and it's like, just answer the question.
Yep.
So,
is this the last Life of Fred we will be doing?
Well, yes and no. And that, like, we're going to finish the book. And then Life of Fred's not going anywhere. I think we're going to go back to apples. And I think we're going to build back up through, because repetition is the key to really getting this. And I think she likes it. And
Yeah,
I think,
she loves it.
and I think